Phil.
And I'm Alex.
We're at the Southern Ukulele store, and today we're going to look at some lovely Kanile'a and Islander ukuleles.
What's the reason for looking at Islander and Kanile'a? That's the thing here, because we've looked at Kanile'a so many times. It can almost feel sometimes like we have favourites and we're playing favourites, and that's true. We love Kanile'a, so I'm not going to apologise for that. But Islander are a brand that we don't talk about nearly as much, and they do share some design features with Kanile'a that are quite important and might make you choose an Islander over Kala, Hana, Snail, Flight. You've got so many choices. That's the thing, so much choice under £500, and at the high end you tend to go for things that bedazzle you. So what Phil and I thought we'd do today is we would talk about a few of our favourite Islander models, a few of our favourite Kanile'a models, and kind of take it in turns to play them. And yeah, I mean, do you want to start with one of the Islander models? Do you want to talk about Islander, or would you like me to start with Islander?
I don't mind. I know which one's my favourite, if you want to...
What, of the Islanders?
I do.
Go on, choose your favourite, start there.
So instantly, the Super Tenor would be one of my favourites in the Islander range. Now, I think the reason that I like this so much is that it's much harder to kind of find a uke of this sort of size without paying more money for something kind of specialist. Yeah. So it's nice that this is offered within this price range. I think
Kala are the only other brand that have ever made a Super Tenor model, but that never actually reached the UK. I think I saw one shop in America, maybe Uke Republic had a few, and then I was told it was discontinued. So the Super Tenor really came along at the right time, didn't it? Here?
Absolutely. So yeah, the Super Tenor would be one to look out for in the Islander range.
So the difference between normal tenor and a Super Tenor, you've got that elongated, big word for 8 o'clock in the morning, elongated lower bout, but you still have the 17-inch scale. The Super Tenor has what a lazy lyricist would describe as a complex sound. It's not brighter, it's definitely darker than a normal tenor, but you have, I feel like, more of a droning kind of low end. It's, if you're a rhythm player and you play kind of high G, but you really want that bottom end from your C note, that's when I personally go for a Super Tenor. What reason is it your favourite? Is it just the dimensions, the size, the shape?
I think it's that slightly kind of warmer characteristic, which personally resonates with me, pardon the pun,
yeah.
for ukuleles. I think that slightly darker tone is just lovely, and I like the fact that the bigger body gives it a little bit more kind of fullness, but it doesn't just take away all the kind of brightness that it has as well. So it allows it to still play clearly when you're finger picking, but when you are strumming, you get the full quality of the C note and the bass response, as you said.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'm a big fan of the Super Tenor too. I'm not surprised you picked that one up. I actually wanted to pick that one up and talk about it because there's a lot of uniqueness to talk about.
Yeah.
The thing about Islander and Kanile'a that we'll touch on with each model is that they have a 38mm nut width. So for you Americans out there that work in inches, it's 1.5 inches. It's just slightly wider, slightly rounder the neck. So you find that your hand sits in a slightly different position than it would with a 35mm nut width. Look, we're going to cut to an audio sample now with Phil playing it, but that's the AST4. They changed the model number.
AST4?
AST4. So Phil's going to give that a play in a sound sample now. And following on from that Super Tenor, we'll move back to the standard tenor variant of that. So the AT4 and the AST4 are both laminate acacia. front, back and sides. Being Kanile'a ukuleles, even though they're made out in the Far East instead of in Hawaii, they do use lovely wood. I know for a fact that Kanile'a supply Islander with some of the wood for the ukuleles they make. They all have an oven coal fingerboard and bridge, and the other design aspect that I think really aids with Kanile'a and Islander ukuleles is the pin bridge. So the pin bridge is borrowed from acoustic guitar, but the theory behind it is that it increases the amount of sustain, and that's one thing, I don't know if you agree or not, but I've always found that these ukuleles have a lot of inherent sustain across the board. Even the laminates, the solids, there's not really a difference. They're just very, very clean, long ringing ukuleles.
It does highlight the build design of the instrument, and it's kind of one of those that sustain comes from multiple places in a ukulele, like down to the weight, the thickness of the top and the back, and you know, small things like a pin bridge can just help, and it's noticeable.
And it's something that you're not seeing on lots of other brands as well. So when you're looking for a ukulele and you want something that has been designed rather than just it's a factory ukulele, and that's not being mean against other brands that have that going for them. It's just the 38mm nut, the pin bridge, the shape is very Kanile'a. Yeah, so the AT4 is very much the little sister of the AST4, but many people would say it's the kind of big dog because the tenor size is what most people associate with Kanile'a. So I'm going to give the AT4 a play. I know you're all sick of hearing me play, but I'm going to give the AT4 a play for you now and see what you think.
Okay, so the last uke from Islander today is the SMT4. So it's a very kind of classic appearance with the laminate mahogany back and sides and the laminate spruce top. So this ukulele it kind of stands out in the tenor range as being a little bit brighter. It just feels like it has a little bit more lift, and for anyone out there who's looking to do some finger picking on a 38mm nut Islander instrument, this would be a really good choice.
It's very affordable as well. I mean, compared to, it's around the same kind of money as a Snail SU-TM1 or a lot of the Kala models out there. And although the Kala models are around the same price as solid top, you don't really feel like you lose anything with this one being a laminate. I know a lot of people having a kind of tied-in anxiety about if something's a laminate, it can't be good, and that's not the case at all. At this price point, which is that £100 to £200, there's a lot of overlapping, isn't there?
And again, you know, with laminates, one of the drawbacks you're thinking is sustain, but as we touched on, that pin bridge again is coming into play and helping that sustain to be longer and fuller, and it's allowing the instrument to be more vibrant overall.
One thing I like about this model as well, across all the sizes, that I like to talk to people about on the phone or in store, is it has side binding, a nice light coloured side binding. So if you're playing in the dark, a lot of people like to play, you know, if they're playing at home, you know, you play on the sofa, you look down, you want to see your side dots, and I find that if you have the cream binding, I'll zoom in on it, if you have that cream binding, you can see your fret dots a lot easier. It's hard to zoom today, but hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. If not, I'll do a close-up later. Yeah, it's just, Islander ukuleles are just cool. You know, they're a good alternative to a Kala, a Hana, the other big brands. And I just feel guilty we don't talk about them more often. We often feature them in comparison videos, and people say, well, I'd like to see more of this or more of that from Islander. And we oblige, but we never really give them a spotlight. So Phil's going to give that one a play for you now. and then when we come back, we're going to look at the Hawaiian Kanile'as.
Right, so first up from Kanile'a, and we've tried to choose things that are a little bit kind of quirky within the Kanile'a range, I think, today. So this is the K-1 B Premium. This is their one of their baritone ukuleles. Now, I love a baritone. Again, like the super tenor, the warmer sound just kind of resonates with me. But this is a all-solid koa ukulele, and I think that one of the things that stands out about Kanile'a is how artistically lovely their koa is. When you look at the grain on something like that, it's just beautiful. And again, zooming is something that I can't do this morning. And that click was my shoulder. So the differences between something like a Kanile'a and a Kanile'a Islander range is obviously the materials used and where they're built rather, but also the actual kind of instrument itself. So the bracing is slightly different in the Kanile'as to the Islanders. The Islanders have a little bit more of a kind of the bracing is a little bit more common. It's a standard kind of design almost, whereas this is their true R bracing, which is very weight relieved to, again, aid the pin bridge in making the instrument sustain for a long time, and it provides a very harmonically rich and vibrant sound on an instrument that's got that lower register and is tuned a little bit lower and designed for that kind of range. It
also creates less contact with the top to allow the top to resonate more. So the top, the brace actually only touches at 3 points, and then it's almost like looking at a very complex mini scaffold inside the instrument. It doesn't, so much effort's gone into the bracing that you have to feel, well, Kanile'a are really looking at each note, you know, of what they're making. That's a premium koa ukulele as well, which Kanile'a do. They tier how you select their koa, so they have a standard koa, a deluxe koa, a premium koa, and then a master grade koa. You don't see too many master grade K1s. They normally save that for things like platinum models or the diamond model. But yeah, I mean, every now and again you see a premium one on a K1 and you think, how can koa ever look nicer than that? I just don't think it can. So yeah, you've done it again. You picked the uke I wanted to show off first, which is the baritone. I'm going to let you channel your inner Barry White now and give us a tune on the Barry White. On the Barry White.
On the Barry White.
On the baritone. Okay, so next up we're going to talk about Kanile'a's Pineapple Tenor ukulele. Originally, the first pineapple design from Kanile'a came just last year at the, it was the 2019 Platinum model, which we featured, I think, probably ad nauseum. It was everywhere. It was a fantastic, deep, bombastic, super cool, super figured ukulele, and it just made sense that Kanile'a would continue making pineapples in 2020 in a more simplified and affordable form. So the P1 is similar in price to a Kanile'a K-1, a kind of introductory koa ukulele, and this one is yeah, this is a standard K-1, but that's not to say that there's anything standard about the K-1. Although it's a bit more understated, as you look around, you see a lot more sapwood, which I've always had a bit of a soft spot for, and you see just how Kanile'a, artistically, as Phil put it, put their ukes together. So the 2020 Kanile'as have an ebony fingerboard and bridge with ebony bridge pins, so wooden bridge pins. Another feature that is an upgrade from the Islander ukuleles. Typically plastic bridge pins, which you would find on the Islanders. Those little bridge pins, you can buy them in a shop singly for about 50p. Whereas to get a matching set of 4 ebony bridge pins will cost you typically about £15 to £20. It's just a tiny thing that you wouldn't think about that is a massive cost addition to an instrument. They have a white mother of pearl dots with a special Kanile'a pineapple logo and gold open back tuners. I completely get why people play pineapples. Every time I hear somebody who's a much more technical player than us come in and play one, I always think that's the ukulele I want them to go away with. I only wish I could do pineapple ukuleles a bit more justice. We always carry a good selection of them because it's such a unique thing at the high end. So you should always find that if we're out of stock of pineapples, one is only ever a few weeks away. And yeah, long may they continue to just be super cool. And I really hope that in 2021, Kanile'a do something else quirky with this shape and design. So I'm going to give this one a play and see what you think. Okay, so the final ukulele slash ukes that we're going to look at today are the Kanile'a Manako tenors, which I personally designed along with Kaimana Souza, one of the Souza sons, during lockdown. We have a WhatsApp group, so this is the first ukulele I think designed between the UK and Hawaii via WhatsApp, but other messaging apps are available. But this is how the Manako came about, with some sketches. I was looking to get myself a new ukulele, and I had growing fondness for Mango. We'd had a custom Mango tenor this time last year. Do you remember it?
I do, yeah.
And it was almost, I mean, it was flawless. It was perfect. It was one of the nicest ukes we'd ever had, and it sold instantly. I didn't even really get a chance to feature it on the YouTube channel, but I talked to Kaimana about it, and I said, look, I really want one of these ukes for me. And he said, well, you know, what would you design? And we talked about how I was a big fan of the slimline headstock, but also a fan of the other style headstock, slightly more curvy topped one, which we did for the concert, and a baritone. The tenor has the unique one, just purely because that's the size that I went for. We have Hawaiian Mango inlays going up the fingerboard on both models, with a Manako, that's Kaimana Souza's handwriting, inlaid into each one. And yeah, I've done a video where I extensively talk about this ukulele. I kind of want to hear what you think about them, Phil.
I think that Mango can be a very hard wood to capture properly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's one of those that if it's too stiff, you kind of lose the characteristic of the wood. And I think that Kanile'a have nailed it. I think it sounds great. I think the ukes are gorgeous. I mean,
it's the nicest mango we've ever had.
I've never seen mango like that. It's like
mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing mango.
Yeah. And I think these sound, what I love about them is that they have all of the tropical and traditional ukulele flavours and elements that you're looking for, but with something a little bit new to offer. And I think they just make a really great contender and companion to Kanile'a's kind of Koa range of ukuleles. And I think if you're a Kanile'a fan and you've got one or two and you're looking to extend your range, definitely have a look at the Manako.
Yeah, but also if you want a high-end ukulele, you don't feel tied into Koa. Koa is fantastic, as we've just shown you with 2 other instruments, and there are a million more available and probably about 50 on the wall right now. But Mango offers something just slightly different, and it's not. I've noticed in the comment sections, Mango's not necessarily what everyone's looking for, but if you want something that has a roundness to it, a warmth, all of the puns are there for the taking. You know, a fruitiness, a sweetness, all of the things you associate with mango as a fruit.
The saturation, like it's
I wish I had more. I wish I'd prepared a list.
But we could do this all day.
We could. We should. Next time we'll just talking fruit puns and see what happens. But I'm really proud of these ukuleles because I feel like they offer something at the high end that wasn't available before. So yeah, the Manako ukes, I've played them to death. I'm gonna let Phil play one for you now, and then we'll close with a bit of a duet. And thanks for watching, folks.
See you later.